Imagine you already feel like you're going crazy, just trying to manage your own life. Now add a newborn in your arms, and a place where one small mistake in the cold can literally cost a life. That's the mental lab we're entering today. This is not a video about perfect motherhood. It's a video about anxiety. When failure doesn't feel like an option, and your brain screams all day long. Because if you can understand what keeps a mother standing at minus 71 degrees Celsius, you can borrow the same mental moves to survive your anxiety where you live, even if outside your window it's plus 40 degrees Celsius. Topic 2. Context. Why minus 71 degrees Celsius matters for your mind. In places like Yakutsk, winter is not an annoyance. It's a constant, physical threat. A simple mistake, one missing layer, a car that doesn't start, a short walk too long, can turn into real danger, not just discomfort. Now put a newborn into that equation. A tiny body with no defense of its own. That depends 100% on an exhausted mother's attention, and on systems that cannot fail. If you already live with anxiety, this is the perfect recipe for disaster. What if the heating breaks? What if we get stuck outside? What if I miss something and it's all my fault? But here's the key. This mother can't freeze. She doesn't get to collapse on the couch and replay worst-case scenarios for hours. She has to function while scared. And that's where the lessons begin. Topic 3. Mental move number 1. A tiny anti-chaos ritual. In that kind of cold, she doesn't wake up and wing it. She knows that starting the day in improvisation multiplies the chance of dangerous mistakes. For her, for the baby, and for everyone else, depending on her. So she follows a tiny anti-chaos ritual. Check the heating, check the baby, move her own body a little. Make sure the house is minimally stable before the day starts pulling her apart. With anxiety, most people do the opposite. They wake up, grab the phone immediately, and let notifications, news, and other people's problems define the tone of their nervous system before they even know how they feel. A realistic anti-chaos ritual can be simple. 1 minute to notice your body. One short list of 3 priorities. One tiny act of self-care you don't negotiate, even on your worst days. Topic 4. Mental move number 2. One next step, not the whole apocalypse. In the documentary, her day is made of tiny tasks. Feeding the baby, cooking soup, cleaning a room, checking clothes, melting ice for water, preparing the older kids for school. Inside an anxious mind, these same tasks become an apocalypse. I'll never keep up. I'll ruin everything. If this one thing goes wrong, my entire life is over. But if you watch her closely, she's not wrestling the whole universe. She's doing the next visible action. Now I change the diaper. Now I stir the soup. Now I put on boots. This is one of the most powerful anti-anxiety moves. Refusing to live 10 hours ahead in your head and coming back to the next executable step. Not, how do I fix my whole life? But, what is the next small thing I can do? Topic 5. Mental move number 3. Layers of protection, not one miracle. At minus 71 degrees Celsius, nobody trusts a single solution. There is no magic jacket that saves you. Survival is built in layers. Thermal underwear, wool, heavy coat, hat, scarf, gloves, insulated boots. The house also lives in layers of safety. Heating running non-stop. Water and food prepared in advance. The car insulated and pre-warmed. Backup plans for when something fails. With anxiety, we're often sold the opposite idea. The one perfect technique. The one pill, the one book, the one therapist that will finally erase all symptoms and turn you into a different person. Real life is closer to Siberia than to a miracle ad. Living well with anxiety usually means a bit of therapy, maybe some medication, some sleep hygiene, some limits, some movement, some honest conversations. Topic 6. Mental move number 4. Walking with fear, not waiting for perfect courage. There are moments when that mother has no choice but to go outside. She must walk to the preheated car, pick up her older child, or take the baby to a health check. She doesn't wait to feel 100% brave. If she waits for perfect courage, appointments are missed. Kids stay unprotected. Risks grow instead of shrinking. So she negotiates with preparation, not with fear. She adds extra layers, double-checks the baby, plans the shortest safe route, warms the car in advance, and goes out trembling, but prepared. Anxious people often do the reverse. They postpone life until the day they feel nothing at all. No fear to drive, no fear to fly, no fear to speak, no fear to leave home. Courage almost never appears first. It usually shows up halfway through, when you realize you're moving with fear, and nothing exploded yet, because you prepared the way she does. Topic 7. Mental move number 5. No one survives alone at -71 degrees Celsius. Behind that one mother, there's an entire invisible system. Maternity leave, health care, schools, roads, food deliveries, a partner, relatives, neighbors. She carries a huge load, yes. But she is not an isolated hero in a vacuum. If you shut down all the support around her, her strength collapses, no matter how resilient she is. With anxiety, many of us try to be that hero. I'll handle everything alone. No one understands me. I don't want to bother people. I'll just push through. But anxiety loves isolation. It grows louder in silence, rewrites reality when no one challenges it, and convinces you that asking for help is weakness instead of maintenance. Mothers in extreme climates know the opposite. Support is not indulgence, it's infrastructure. For your mind, friends, groups, professionals, and honest conversations work like heating systems. Without them, everything slowly freezes. Topic 8. Conclusion. What -71 degrees Celsius teaches about your everyday anxiety. You may never hold a newborn at -71 degrees Celsius, but your nervous system might already feel like it's living in permanent winter. Every change looks dangerous. Every mistake feels fatal. This story isn't asking you to become fearless or perfect. It's inviting you to think like someone who has to stay functional in a hostile climate, inside and outside. Maybe your next step is a tiny anti-chaos ritual. Maybe it's breaking your day into doable next actions. Maybe it's building real layers of support instead of waiting for a single miracle. Or maybe it's finally admitting that you can't keep surviving alone in an emotional climate that freezes you every day. Whichever move speaks to you most, start with that one today, not someday. If this helped you see your anxiety differently, tell me in the comments where in your life you feel like you're living in your own -71. And if you want more anxiety in practice, subscribe and stay close.